Hey, friends, it's Rhonda.
I'm George.
And this is What About Your Friends? Our web series where we talk about all things friendship.
The good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent.
And everything in between. Ooh, we talk about some old bad stuff today.
Yeah, let me just hide.
We know you need our help in this department, and we have a lot of experience in the department that we're about to talk about today. So pull your chairs up, get nice and close to the screen, grab your drink.
Because we're going to talk about
how to handle conflict amongst your friends.
Yes.
I'm tired just at the thought of it, child.
It's just so stressful.
It is. It's very stressful.
Because you want to remain a family. You want to remain a unit. So you have to tread lightly because one wrong movement could break up the whole thing. It's like the Jacksons or the Braxtons.
Sorry. We need a Jackson 5 moment. Okay, so what are you drinking today?
I'm drinking just a little Jack. You know, I'm trying not to do
straight.
I'm not trying to do the little juice thing because I'm trying to get my life and my bearings together. So if I'm going to drink, I'm just get straight, no chaser. You need.
I like it. This is what I'm having today, guys. It's you out.
Okay, cheers.
Cheers to that.
I'm going to need that later, you know?
Okay, yes, because you drinking Jack straight. All right, listen. Conflict amongst your friends is one of the most awkward, uncomfortable, frustrating, and downright stressful things that you can deal with within a group of friends. And when I say a group, it can be a group of 3, okay? It could be a group of 4.
1, 2, 3.
It can be a group of 10. When 2 people start beefing and you are somehow caught in between it because you are both of those folks' friends, whew, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. We're going to do our best to give you tried and true tips that have worked for us.
Listen.
That continue to work for us.
We're going to save your life. We're going to save it. Listen.
Ooh, Lord.
Follow these steps. Let's get into it, okay?
Buckle your seatbelt. That's really the first step. Buckle your seatbelt and get prepared for a bumpy ride because it's a tough situation. So we just need to put that whole thing out there. But okay, boom. Tip number 1, George, let's go.
Listen. You cannot repeat what the parties are saying to each other. Only because people say things out of frustration. Everything is not meant to be repeated. And if you repeat it and you don't have it in the right context of how they said it, it could make the situation worse.
Absolutely.
So when you're trying to mediate the situation, you listen to both sides. You take the vital information and you might disperse you paraphrase in a sense.
If you have to paraphrase at all. Sometimes you don't need to repeat none of it. You know, you listen, you take the information, and then you regurgitate back to the person that's telling you some advice that will lead them to resolve the matter, because ultimately you do want them to work it out so that you guys don't have issues.
Or also what you do is you take their words and you kind of reformat them in the sense of well, maybe, have you ever thought about this? Mm-hmm. And it make it seem like it's coming from you and you're giving them questions to kind of understand how the other person is feeling.
Could possibly be feeling.
Yes.
Absolutely.
But don't just be like,
don't do the telephone thing.
She said that she don't blase, and he did. No, don't do that.
That's not what she told me when I talked to her.
Nope. Don't do it. It's a no-no.
It's creating drama.
You're going to make the situation worse, and then you might get caught into it because then they what did you say? So you just let her say that you ain't defend me?
Yeah.
So it can get tricky because in defending or trying to fix a friendship, you can get blamed in the process. And that
kind of leads us right into the second tip, which is do not pick a side. Both of these people are your friends. The worst thing you could do is to really side with one or the other. You want to remain a neutral party. And when I say a neutral party, Do not over involve yourself. Do not carry information from one to the other. But you want to remain neutral in the sense that you give as much unbiased, good advice as possible. Because as we just said, you want them to resolve this, right? You don't want them to feel ultra validated in their feelings and their thoughts to the point where they don't want to repair a relationship with the person. They like, well, I feel how I feel, and so agrees with me. You may very well agree and think that they are more right in the situation, but it doesn't mean that you want conflict. You still want them to be understanding of how the other person could be feeling, why the other person might be feeling that way. And so it's just best that you don't pick a team. You are team friendship, okay?
Yeah.
That's the team that you are on.
Because if you pick a side, the other person might feel like you're ganging up on them, which may cause them to shut down, might cause them to just say, forget it, y'all can have it. Or they might be like, oh, are you guys talking about me since y'all feel the same way? What y'all saying about me? So it can kind of make the situations work worse. So just don't pick a side. Try to remain neutral. Even if deep down inside you feel a certain type of way or you are leaning towards another side, you need to keep the friendship at the forefront.
That's right. And on that, real quick, just last thing to say about that. Also, not picking a side and remaining neutral is being fair. Yes. If you are going to be giving advice and a person might feel like so-and-so wronged them, you can acknowledge that, okay, yes, maybe so-and-so did wrong you, but did they really mean to? Do you think that they were trying to be intentional? Well, here's how you might have made some mistakes. People are very quick to point out others' mistakes, but very slow to point out their own. And so sometimes in situations, you might have been a part of the problem and that person doesn't recognize that they're a part of the problem. And it's your job, if you're going to be unbiased, to say, hey, you fucking up too. Okay. And so make a little bit of room for other people to do the same thing.
Because everything is based on perception.
Yeah.
And they could be the same story. It's three sides to the story. Their side, the other person's side, and then the truth.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Moving into the next tip.
The next tip is don't include other people in the argument. So if you're in a big group of friends, don't such and such is beefing, and now you made a small issue a bigger issue. So now everybody's in the mix. Everybody got their opinion. People, not you, but people on the other side are taking sides. So you're just stressing the friendship out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's already an issue between two people. Now you're about to possibly create an issue between multiple people because you're getting more people involved. I mean, let's give an example of this. I mean, maybe not something very specific, but the worst thing is if you and I, we were talking on the phone last night, right?
Yeah.
We had a conversation. And you say, Jane, our other friend, Jane, she really just been acting real funny lately. I just don't like it. And I say, for the most part, Jane is all right. But I will say, last Wednesday, she did kind of act a little funny towards me. So fast forward 2 days, we all out at happy hour, me, George, and Jane. And George is like, Jane, I just really wanted to talk to you about the fact that I feel like you've been really just acting funny. Jane's like, really? Because I feel like I've been acting funny. I don't know what you're talking about. Here comes George saying,
well, I talked to Rhonda. Rhonda said you've been acting funny to her too.
What?
So Jane so y'all talking about me?
So y'all talking about me, basically. Okay. Yeah. No. Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay. That's why involving other people, starting to pick sides and voicing your opinion a little too much in one direction can just really go bad. And now I got beef with Jane. And what I really said was, Jane hasn't really been treating me that bad. She was acting funny that one little day. Now you gonna talk about what Rhonda said.
And you took what I said and you made it bigger than what the situation was.
Exactly.
Or what may happen is people might put on, they may add more facts or evidence or feelings to the situation. We got an issue. Now I got Susie over here saying, well, she did say this, giving me new information that I didn't even know about. And now it's like, I thought it was an issue here. Now it's a much bigger issue because everybody else is adding facts and their feelings and their emotions. And then that's when the separation starts.
Absolutely.
So try to remain neutral and
keep other people out of it. Okay.
Just focus on the two that's having the issue.
Yes. No need to call all the friends, telling the whole group what's going on if the whole group doesn't know. Listen, we are guilty of doing this. We are speaking from actual experience. It can get very colorful and crazy if you don't try to keep things under control.
And most importantly, because people make judgments and form their own opinions about people by the things that you tell them. So if you tell...
Say that again. Say that again.
People form opinions or judgments on another person based on what you tell them. Even though they're not supposed to. They be like, well, I don't really fool with her because she did such and such and such and such. And now this person that never had an issue with Susie now has an issue with Susie based off of what somebody has told them. Like even with like boyfriends or girlfriends in your relationship, you have to watch what you tell your friends because your friends formulate opinions on that person without even knowing that person. So if you victimize, if you make your boyfriend or your girlfriend,
you villainize them, you make them such a bad person,
and then you like, oh, I love this person, and now we're like, well, for 12 years you made him to be the villain or you made her to be the villain, and now they supposed to be a knight in shining armor. But I ain't never get those stories. So you just gotta watch what you tell people.
You do. And about your friends for sure.
Yes.
You know, be mindful of that. Okay, moving on to the next one. You want to do your best to prevent fighting, right? Arguments for sure, I think, are going to happen. Disagreements with yelling and things like that. But you want to prevent physical altercations because it's very hard to come back, I think, from a physical fight. You know, if you
put your hands on me,
I'm
going to have to drag you.
Yeah, the road to recovery, it might just be a never-ending road because, you just don't want to see that. And you don't really want to see two people who were very much friends and loved each other, vacation together, you know, all of that stuff actually come to physical blows. That's
like the last resort
the last resort.
We don't fight.
We too old, we too classy, we too all of that. I know that it's sensationalized on TV. You see a lot of this on reality shows, like people throwing tables and throwing drinks and, you know, always going to physically attack someone but being pulled back by security. I think only like one time, okay, maybe more than one time, have I been in a space where my friends were about to go to like physical blows. It's been less than 5 times. I can count on one hand how many times through arguments or conflict that my friends were like really about to like physically fight. And everyone that was in that space tried to prevent that from happening. You know, it's just you don't want to see that. You don't want to see that. You don't want to see that.
And then it's like you fight, then what?
Yeah.
Well, what do you prove? You get a trophy. You
gotta keep seeing her because she's gonna keep coming around. So you gonna fight her. You're
not getting $1 million. You're not in the ring. You're not Mayweather.
True.
Like,
yeah.
For what? You got beat or you got beat up and then what?
Yeah, it's not.
Nothing.
Don't fight. All right. So let's go on to our last tip because we want you to try to help these situations, right?
Yes.
We want you to try your best to be there and be supportive and help your friends get through this conflict. However, what you don't want to do
is over-mediate. Do not beat that thing like a bush. You have to let people come around in their own time. You give them the facts. You kind of give them some
encouragement in the right direction, but you can't over-mediate. Don't keep putting yourself in the middle of it. Don't keep questioning and following up on things, because then it just kind of makes you look a little messy and like maybe you just are looking for some drama.
Yeah.
And so let it naturally happen.
Won't you go be friends with them? I mean, you keep asking me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like it should be natural and organic, because we talked about in a previous video, like friendship breakups are real and they can happen, but they can also be temporary.
Yes.
And it's up to those two parties to determine what's what, if it's permanent, if it's temporary. And so allow the repair to happen naturally, but of course, try to guide it and sail the ship in the right direction.
And sometimes it might not come around like as fast as you want. Sometimes it may take a year or two. Sometimes it may take 5 months. Sometimes it may take 5 minutes or just a one conversation.
Yeah.
But you have to let those people find it within themselves to forgive that other person and to move on, because at the end of the day, it's not you going through it, and you don't know what that person has to go through, or how they felt, or how they felt betrayed, or whatever the situation is. They have to come around in their own time to mend that friendship.
Absolutely. And can I just give a bonus tip?
With the bonus, girl.
The bonus tip is, when two friends have conflict and you're the neutral party, please don't make decisions for one or the other person. Don't make decisions for them, like assuming that one won't want to come to something because the other one is there, or you shouldn't invite. You have to pick and choose who you invite. You don't have conflict with either of them, so you should be functioning as normal, okay?
That's good.
Invite them, have them come around. It's up to them to say, no, I'm not going to be there. No, I'm not going to show up. No, I don't want to be in the same space. But you're going to wind up creating conflict for yourself when you start trying to make decisions for people, like, oh, well, so-and-so wouldn't want to come because so-and-so is going to be there and they have conflict right now. Don't assume that. Don't assume that, because one person will potentially feel slighted.
And then they would feel like you have picked a side.
Yeah.
And you didn't pick a side. You were trying to be overprotective and trying to create
Make everybody comfortable.
But my thing, that's not your job. You just invite your friends, and they have to be adults, because after a while that situation, they might find a corner at your party and be like, hey, let's talk.
Absolutely. So don't make decisions for them. Okay, that was my bonus tip. That's my bonus tip.
You know what I'm saying? 18%, you know.
Listen, like, comment, subscribe, and please share this with your friends. We appreciate all the support that you guys have been giving us. We want your feedback as always.
Yes.
So you can follow us on social media at Ronnie Cakes, RHONI Cakes. Jesus.
Ronnie Cakes?
Is that my name?
I don't know.
That's my Instagram name. What's your Instagram name?
I am GTW.
And then you can also follow us at
Frens.
at FRENING.
Follow us.
Follow us.
Watch our videos. We have other videos. Subscribe. Hit the red button in the corner. You know.
It's somewhere in one of these
corners.
Right. Somewhere. Make sure you do that though. Please share. And of course, always, we're open to your feedback. Slide in our DMs. You can email us. It's all on our pages about how you can get in touch with us. And we will catch you on the next episode. Happy friending.